Amy Bozer here, and I want to talk to you today about a really simple technique for leveling up your copy. And it's one we don't use enough, and I forget sometimes, but I just was in that experience. So I want to share some of those nuggets with you. So inside of my mastermind, we are doing a group writing project. And what that is it's a client who comes to me and who wants to hire me. And I suggest, if appropriate, I'll suggest the group. And in this particular case, it was something I was really interested in. And I said, look, I run a mastermind. We are 99% copywriters, and we could do something as a team. And there were 6 people who decided they wanted to work on the project. So you get 6 brains for the price of 1, and I'll be copy chiefing. And so when they specifically want to hire me, at least they feel like they're getting me in the bargain. The other situation that I see this with is copy chiefing, which I do for quite a number of people. And I'll explain what how that all ties together here in a moment. But what you have when you're working with a group, and I'm going to suggest like maybe working with one person, like maybe having a copy buddy. What happens is you have different opinions, you have different viewpoints, you have different ways of solving the problem. I'm doing this because it's like down the page, right? And so talking about the copy really, really, really helps the copy in a way that is kind of hard to explain. But first of all, it lightens the load. It makes it really easy. Nobody feels, nothing feels too cumbersome or onerous, but you get all of these brains working. Now, in this case, we're doing 2 web pages. We're doing a home page and we're doing a landing page. And then from that, we will do a series more of landing pages. But that we divided into 2 groups, the landing page group and the homepage group. And I'm in the homepage group. And today we went over the copy, which 2 of my other 2 members in the group had put together. And it was fascinating for a bunch of reasons. A, to see, where was the overlap? What ideas and treatments, when I refer to treatments, so, like a copy treatment, the treatment of a page, where did the treatments overlap? And B, where did they convey the same message but veer in a different direction? Like, for example, we were looking at, do we want to amplify the problem here and talk a little bit of the negative, or do we want to amplify the solution yet and be talking in the positive? And that was a place where some different ideas came out, and we were able to look at the copy. And actually what was really cool was we rewrote the copy. I mean, granted, a lot of it was there and it was good, but we rewrote the copy on the fly, and we were able to talk about, well, hey, what about if we say it this way? Or what about if we present it this way before the pricing, or change the video so it's this way? And it was so great to be able to discuss it, because some of the ideas were great, some of the ideas were non-starters, but by throwing everything out there, we just came up with what I think is really, really good copy. What I find too, when I do copy chiefing and I'm reviewing someone's copy, this funny thing is, what I find the most is very often, with people who have some experience, sometimes with people who are brand new, but that's a little more hit and miss. But what I find is very often the copy is there going down the page, and it doesn't matter what it is. This could be anything. It could be content, it could be email, it could be a sales page, a web page. What happens as you read through it, like, I'll start reading something and I'm like, I'm not so sure. And then I'll get down, I'm like, bingo, there it is. And what I often find is the copy needs to be rearranged, right? It's all there, it's all good, but it needs to be reorganized. And the other thing I see a lot is the getting ready to get ready. And so it's like it's like the equivalent of, like, throat clearing before you talk. That there's sometimes things that we have to get out on the page to get to the real meat, but we no longer recognize that the first part was not, quote, the real meat of it. And I very often can see it, and I can see which copy works, and I can even, suggest kind of, how you rearrange it. The other thing that happens really commonly when you don't have any other eyeballs on your copy, and especially with long form copy, you tend to, write it. And unless you have a lot of time to let it sit, you're going to be going in and editing it. And you may even be editing it while you're writing it, right? And what tends to happen is the top part of the copy gets all the love. Right. So by the time you get down here, because you've gone in, you've let it sit, then you go in and then you edit to here, and then you go in again, and without meaning to, you edit to here. And then what happens very often is the offer is the thing that, falls to the bottom, and it can get neglected. And that's why it's really, really good practice to write the offer first and then write all of the copy to the offer. I mean, it's a good idea for a number of reasons, including if you're not really clear on the offer, you're not like crystal clear on the offer, it's hard to write the rest of the copy, right? Because what are you writing to? The offer is the final conclusion. And so it's good to have that already laid out. And so what I think can be really really helpful is to have a copy buddy. I mean, you don't have to hire a copy chief or a coach. I have clients who build me, into their projects, either with the client's knowledge that they're hiring a copy chief, or they just build it into their budget, and we have a method for them sending me the copy and setting up a date and that sort of thing. You don't have to do that. You could have a copy buddy, so someone who's at your level, or maybe even a little above, if they're willing, who you can help each other. It doesn't mean you won't be doing what we did in the mastermind. We're not each going to write something. I mean, everyone's getting paid here. Granted, it's divided by 6, but everyone's getting paid. Plus, there's a learning incentive here. So it behooves everyone to write these different treatments and then come together. I'm not suggesting that your copy buddy, write your client work, but I am suggesting that your copy buddy read it over and give you feedback. And you can ask for very specific feedback and see what they would add, see what they would change, what they would do differently, or what they see that works. It can be incredibly helpful. And you can do that for one another. The one thing I want to say, just in wrapping this up, is don't be shy. And it's really, I know it can feel very vulnerable, especially if you've never done it, to show your copy to someone, but trust yourself and trust your process, and work with somebody that you know and trust, who you can communicate with, but don't take it as criticism. A critique isn't criticism. I used to tell clients, look, together we're going to create the best version of this copy, so feel free to give me feedback. I was very specific, though. I said, I don't want to hear what you like, what your business partner likes, what your spouse likes, even what your client likes. It doesn't matter what anyone likes. It matters what works. And that's a really, really important point to defend in copy, because when you start getting it to something that's comfortable, often you find, you're breaking all the rules, and it's not going to be as effective. Get used to, getting feedback and even fighting back on it, and, defending your position, because chances are you've made your decisions for really good reasons. Dan Kennedy used to teach, always leave one major thing that the client can get their teeth into. I mean, it could be something in the offer or in the guarantee, but the idea being, let them change something that's low stakes for the copy, but let them be involved, because ultimately it's their business, and you just they have this undeniable urge to get in there and do something. So give them a place to do that, but be very clear about where it shouldn't be done, in your own mind, and then with them later if you need to, defend any decisions or explain the copy. So I hope that's helpful. If you'd like to know when these videos are dropped, just click the bell and you will be notified. And also, I've got some interesting things coming up. I've got an interesting business skills course coming up, and the next round of my mastermind will begin in January. If it sounds like something that might interest you, jump over to my site. If you get on the wait list, I'll reach out to you directly very quickly, because we're in the process of doing that right now. Or you can book a time to have a chat. We can chat for 20 minutes, find out what your goals are, what you're looking for. I can tell you what's on offer, and we can see if we have a fit. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.